Hey everyone, I'm Rod and Todd, a professional YouTuber who makes professional videos. As you can see, I am not dead. Yeah, I haven't uploaded in a while, sorry about that. It's just I haven't had anything to actually upload. It's been kind of dull over here for the past while. And I figured, since I haven't reviewed anything in a while, I'd come back with a bang. So, last time I reviewed the Mega Construx Masters of the Universe Point Dread and the Talon Fighter. Well, I have some more He-Man stuff to review. Yeah, it turns out that my local Walmart recently received a shipment of the latest series of Masters of the Universe Mega Construx figures. There's 5 of them again, and I'm going to review them. So these 5 figures are actually first unveiled at PowerCon, I think it was, a while ago. And they looked awesome there, and they look about as awesome now, to be honest. So, as with all these other figure reviews I've been doing, I'm going to start with the least interesting one and just go from there. So, there's Evil Lyn. Yes, Evil Lyn. Another Evil Lyn figure. We don't need this, but they released it. I honestly feel like this figure here is just in the series because they needed a 5th figure and they couldn't think of one to do, so they just said, let's redeco Evil Lyn. So from what I can tell, this is supposed to be based off her appearance in the 2000X cartoon from the early 2000s. But as with the Filmation Evil Lyn that got released in the last series, doesn't really do that job particularly well. All they did really was just redeco Evil Lyn in those colors without changing anything. Of note, though, is that she does have a new staff accessory. The previous 2 Evil Lyns, what they did was they had the standard stick piece, or staff piece or whatever, and then a cone, 2 studs with holes in them, and then the little ball piece at the top. This is a new staff piece that basically omits the 2 studs with the dots on them. It has this little ring pattern all along it, so it's just 3 pieces, which I like better. It looks a lot more streamlined, I guess. As you can see, it's definitely a very black figure, I guess. It's a lot of black and whatnot on it. There's the back. So in terms of comparison, here's Evil Lyn next to the original toy-based one, and then next to the Filmation one. And also something I didn't point out in my review of the Filmation one, I think, is that I noticed the Filmation one doesn't have the same crotch piece, I guess we can describe it, as the other 2, which is interesting. I didn't really notice that until now, but yeah, as you can see, there's a huge difference between these 3. And I still prefer Evil Lyn, the toy-based Evil Lyn staff, though, because it has the cool, transparent crystal ball silver paint on it. I wish these others would do that, but whatever. So there's 2000X Evil Lyn, as I'm going to call it. And yeah, that's the least interesting of the set for me. Then we have Faker, or as I like to call it, Battle Armor Faker. So from what I can gather, this was based off a Masters of the Universe Classics figure that was a Toys R Us exclusive and is therefore very, very rare. I didn't know that until just recently. I thought this was an original concept to the Mega Construx toy line. And basically, they took the same approach they did with regular figure, but applied the battle armor whatever to it. So they just took Skeletor's battle armor, put it up in orange, and then put it on the He-Man mold and made Faker. So, as you can see, there's the bat tampograph on the chest there, and when this was shown off at PowerCon, I believe they just left that blank. So I'm glad they actually put something there. And on the back, it's got some nice paint too. And yes, you may be wondering, does this Faker have the robotic chest tampograph on him? Yeah, he does. I did do the check myself, but since this hard plastic armor is extremely difficult to remove, I'm not going to do it on camera. You're just going to have to trust me that it's there. In terms of accessories, he has the orange power sword, and new to the Mega Construx Faker, he's got the He-Man shield in orange. That's something the original Mega Construx Faker didn't have. And speaking of Mega Construx Faker, here he is. I still prefer this one because it actually looks like the normal Faker. As you can see, they have the same sword, and yeah. And then you can see this one has the axe, and this one has the shield. So if you want to have Faker with all of the vintage He-Man's accessories, you can just put this shield on this Faker or whatnot. I don't know. Other than that, like basically apart from the armor, there is like no difference between these two. See, they got the same kind of color armor and stuff, I guess. So yeah, there's Battle Armor Faker. Not necessarily needed, but I guess it's still cool. Okay, now we get to the really cool ones, or at least the really cool ones for me anyway. Here's Teela. There we go. So yes, this is our, I believe, third Teela. So you may notice one major difference. This Teela has her snake headdress, which the regular Teela that the first Teela they released didn't have. And yes, they did release a Teela with the snake headdress in the Battle Bone set, but since it's a Comic-Con exclusive, I don't have that. So this is, I guess, my first opportunity to get Teela with a snake headdress. Which, if you don't know, the original Teela figure came with a snake armor thing that was in all the marketing and whatnot. And then in the cartoon, they didn't have Teela with this, and they swapped out her staff for a sword or something like that. I don't know. But yeah, so that was very different from the toy in the cartoon and stuff. And so, more often than not, Teela is depicted without her snake headdress, but she still comes with it for toy accuracy or whatnot. And if you don't know, I'm a bigger fan of the original toy line than I am the original cartoon. Probably going to get destroyed for saying that, but I've always been a bigger fan of original toy accuracy than cartoon accuracy. So this is great. I like this. So if you bring out the other Teela, you can see a few differences. The accessories are obviously different colors. And if you want to create probably the ultimate toy line accurate Teela, I guess you could swap their accessories around so that they're the same color as a snake headdress thingy. And on the back, it's really not much difference. Really the main difference I can find on the base figure is the fact that the armor, like the boots are a different color, you can see that. And then the armor, like the little arm things here, as you can see on this Teela are more of a bronze color, and here they're like a lighter gold color. I don't really know which one I like better, to be honest. Oh yes, and of course the snake headdress is removable. I should probably show you what that looks like. It's just a rubbery piece, and yeah, if you want to have this Teela without her snake headdress, there you go. I'm also going to bring out the Goddess of Castle Grayskull for comparison, because it's basically just the Teela mold in green. And it also comes with the snake headdress. So basically, I remember getting the Grayskull set and being like, wait, so they made the snake headdress piece, but they didn't give it to Teela? What? So I'm happy that we finally have a Teela that's accurate to the original toy, and I'm knocking everything down. Just, the hard part is getting it back on. What I do is I just pop the head off, and then just pop it in there until it's situated. Give me a second here. It's kind of hard to get it. Put the head back in at just the right angle for it to work. Okay, there. And then just pop the head back on. So yes, this is going to be the primary Teela I have in my display, because, as I said, I prefer original toy accuracy over cartoon accuracy. So, yeah, there's Teela. Actually, I think when this figure was first unveiled, they tried to bill it as the Battle Armor Teela, because it had the snake headdress. But, yeah, whatever. Okay, now we delve into the realm of new characters that haven't gotten a figure release in the Mega Construx line before. Here's Stinkor. Yes, Stinkor. one of the most infamous Masters of the Universe characters. He is basically a skunk man. And as with Moss Man before him, he's a redeco of an existing figure, whereas the Moss Man figure was a redeco of Beast Man without the armor. Stinkor is a redeco of Merman. Yes, who would have guessed that by redecoing a fish, you could have gotten a skunk? Something I do like about this figure is, I'm not Merman down, is he has white stripes down his arms and stuff. I like that. That's just a nice little paint detail. And it's normally a thing with Stinkor for him to be made out of stinky plastic, because he is a skunk. And so, they want to make him smell. That's a thing they did on the vintage figure. I believe they did that on the 2000X, whatever. And then I think they did that on the Masters of the Universe Classics release. But unfortunately, they did not do it here. As with Mossman's Pine Scent, I'm just assuming it was for cost reasons. It's just a $5 figure you can find at Walmart. So, yeah, I guess that makes sense why he doesn't stink, but that's disappointing. Because I've always wanted to know what a vintage Stinkor smells like. Like, if there's one vintage figure I'd get, it would probably be the vintage Stinkor, just so I could experience the smell. In terms of accessories, he has a blue redeco of He-Man's shield, and he has this blue gun, which is just a redeco of Man-at-Arms gun in bright blue. Now, the vintage figure didn't have this gun, he just came with a shield, and I knocked Merman down again. So yeah, the vintage figure just came with a shield, but I don't mind the gun. In terms of armor, this is newly tooled for this line. It made its debut on Stinkor. However, it's normally a thing with Stinkor to reuse Mechanics armor. And if you're wondering, does this mean we might get a Mechanic in the future because they have the tooling for the armor? Actually, it does. They're releasing a Battle Ram set, which comes with a Mechanic figure. I don't know when that's going to be released. It should be releasing here sometime soon. And when it does, I'm going to buy it and I'm going to review it. As you can see here, it's an orange version of Mechanics armor. It looks like an angry face almost. You can see the eyes there, and there's this red paint app that kind of looks like a mouth. I just noticed that. See, there's some sculpting on the back and stuff. So yeah, Stinkor. Cool. I like him. Glad we're getting new characters that aren't just cheap redecos or whatever. And now for the most interesting character, in my opinion, that got released in this set. Because he's not just a redeco, he's basically a new tooling from the ground up, except for like the basic arms and legs and stuff. It's Fisto. Yeah, when this figure was unveiled at PowerCon, I was wondering how they were going to pull this guy off. So yeah, Fisto, if you don't know, in the Masters of the Universe lore, like basically every character in Masters of the Universe has some sort of gimmick. Fisto's gimmick is that he has a giant fist. The vintage toy had a spring-loaded punching action, or I think it was like when you pulled his arm back, it would spring forward to make it look like he was punching. Of course, this figure doesn't have that, but I don't mind. As you can see, his giant fist is just a newly tooled piece, just fits into the standard arm piece. He's got a new armor piece, which is hard plastic. Newly tooled head, which is, yeah, just Fisto's head. And then he's got his sword here, which is a redeco of the Triclops sword. That's how it normally is. And as with Mechanic, or Stinkor Mechanic, you may be wondering, does this mean we get a Triclops figure in the future? Because they have the sword tooling ready? Yeah, we're getting Triclops in the Battle Ram set too. Somehow they're going to pull off his rotating eyes, I guess. I don't know how that's going to work in a figure of this scale. But yeah, his metal fist's obviously the point of interest here. No, this is not removable. I wish it was, but whatever. So there's one complaint I have about it. It's that obviously this piece is molded in the same silver plastic as his armor, and so they put flesh tone paint apps right on the little joint. However, the paint matches very badly. You can't really see it well on camera, but on the when you just look at it in person, it doesn't really match particularly well. It's kind of hard to notice, but I don't know. It's really you only notice it if you're looking at it up close. So I guess that's okay. I mean, they did their best, you know. And to be honest, I'm surprised they even got a Fisto figure in this line. Because Mega Construx has never really been one for producing obscure He-Man characters. Like, let's face it, you knew as soon as they produced Beastman and Merman, we were gonna get Mossman and Stinkor, but Fisto doesn't really, he's not really a redeco of anyone. So, yeah. Just great to have a couple new characters in this line that aren't just redecos of existing figures that are just variants, like with Skeletor and Wind Raider Skeletor and Grayskull Skeletor and Disco Skeletor and Battle Armor Skeletor, or Filmation Skeletor, not Disco Skeletor, and then Battle Armor Skeletor, and then Stratos, and then Inverted Stratos, which just swap the colors of the accessories. So, yeah, that's my review of the Mega Construx Master of the Universe series or whatever. I don't know. They're like numbering to these series. I think I'm just gonna say this is series 3 because I'm just gonna count the first 9 figures. There's 8 or 9 figures that I reviewed in that first video is series 1, and then Filmation Skeletor, Filmation Evil Lyn, Prince Adam, Mossman, and Inverted Stratos is series 2. And I'm just gonna count this as series 3. So let's just say this is the Mega Construx Masters of the Universe Series 3. Yeah, so this will probably be my last video for a while, actually. So I think the next video is probably going to be the Rod and Todd Holiday Special 2, because I did that last year and I had a lot of fun making it, so... yeah, next year, or on Christmas, it'll be uploaded on Christmas. It'll either be me opening the 2020 Hot Wheels Advent Calendar or opening a bunch of Transformers. Depends on what I get for Christmas. So, yeah, thanks for watching this video. Please like the video, subscribe if you're new, and whatever. And turn on the notifications. Yes, this has been Rod and Todd signing off.